r/AskReddit. Women of Reddit. What's the weirdest thing a man wanted from you? Freshman year in college, a floor mate asked me to poo on a glass platter with him directly under the platter. He wanted to watch my sphincter pucker and release. 30 years later I still remember that moment. Being floor mates, I knew him to be odd and patted him on the back and said politely, pass. That is an amazingly civil way to deal with the situation. Good for you. You missed your opportunity to say hesitation. Gotten a Cupid message. Hello, I'm a doctor. Can I lick your belly button? I'm a good doctor. Please show Bob's and vagine. Milk truck just arrived. Dated one dude. The first time we got physical he took my panties off to go down on me, and the first thing he did was turn them inside out and put them on his head. Is this a thing people do? I thought it was weird. Edit. Wow. So many mixed opinions. To provide some more context, let me re-emphasize that this was our first time getting physical. He took my panties off, put them on his head, and then tried going down on me, but I was so distracted by the underwear on his head that I couldn't focus and just started cracking up. Also, he put them on his head, not his face. Also, for those who are saying it's pretty standard, I had never experienced this before, so it was new to me. And TBH, even if it is a thing people do, it's still weird to me. Did he pretend to be Bane? I just imagine college humor's version of Batman when I read this comment. A guy on a dating site once offered me $10k to take the train down from Boston to New Jersey, strap on stilettos, and squash bugs in his backyard. He was very careful to say he wanted nothing except, and I was welcome to bring whoever I needed to in order to feel safe. And to this day I wonder if I should have taken him up on it. My school loans would have appreciated it. Dude could have saved money and called an exterminator. Just scream at his bare ass. Fuss road app. Edit. Wow, my first gold. I'd like to thank the greybeards at High Hrothgar for this one. Thank you. To wear a pair of stilettos while standing on his balls. I refused because I was afraid that would send him to the Reading that made my balls migrate up into my throat. From guys around the world. Thank you for not doing that. It was such a random request too. He said apparently he got off on being dominated his word in that way. But he had never asked a woman to do it to him while wearing heels. I'm not the most kinky person, but will try to indulge a partner's requests. However, my agreeableness ends when I think it might result in hospital bills. And I couldn't see that ending remotely well for him. Also, we'd only been on a couple dates, WTF. Sometimes I wonder what became of him. When I was on Tinder for a brief period a couple of years ago, I got asked by 3 guys consecutively to piss on them. I get that it's a thing, but 3 guys in a row is interesting. Are you sure they weren't just taking the piss? Unfortunately for them, they weren't. A boy that rode my bus in high school snipped off a lock of my hair and put it in the plastic casing of his ID badge. He wore it for the rest of the year. This is just scary as hell. Now, brandishing an amulet containing a lock of hair from a virgin wards off evil. I was helping a student with their account, work in college finance, and he pointed to this bag of almonds that I had on my desk and goes, "Can I have those almonds?" I said, "Excuse me?" And he repeats, "Can I have those almonds?" I told him no. They were my lunch. He said, "Oh, okay," and then didn't say anything else. It might not sound super weird, but it was super ducking weird. If he asked for some almonds, I mean that would be maybe less weird, but no. He wanted the whole bag. Like for me to just hand him this whole bag of almonds. What the duck? Those aren't cheap, dude. So that's the weirdest thing a man wanted for me. My almonds. Can I have an almond? 100% normal. Can I have some almonds? 70% normal. Can I have all the almonds? 2% normal. An almond is just as weird to me. How could you eat just one? When I was a 14-year-old girl, I was taking part in a bike ride, and a much older man flagged me down and asked me to help him out of his car because he was disabled and needed to pee. I made an excuse and cycled away at Mach 2. If he was genuinely disabled, I feel sorry for him. but I'm not going to risk being aped. Edit. Thanks for the positive comments everyone. I really appreciate them. Right decision if your instincts told you so. He could have asked someone stronger to help him. Rule number 1 for people: if something makes your spider senses tingle or someone/something makes you feel uncomfortable, listen. I hear people get themselves into bad situations because they don't want to offend a stranger. Duck that. If your instincts are saying run, run. I was walking home one day after university. I had to walk past a shopping center and a few homes. In between the shopping center and homes there's a path. Some guy was standing there and approached me. Then he asked, "Can I follow you home?" He was like a polite stalker. I declined his request. A shining example to all the stalkers of the world. Consent is important. I had a customer that would come into the club where I worked and pay me to put my stanker's stripper feet on his face and verbally abuse him. Edit. Ducking figures that my highest rated comment would be about stripper feet. You totally did it. Didn't you? I had a guy come up to me in the gym and ask if I would give him my bra or panties after I'd finished without washing them. I said no. I bet you cold gotten like $50 $100 bucks for them each. Dudes are weird. A good sports bra costs $120 or more. There's no profit margin here. I use BioShock absorbers at $130 each. Custom fitted. Ain't no one prying that off my sweaty bod. A guy who looked to be in his 20s asked me for a picture of my hand. And I sent him one just because it's a hand. What's he gonna do? He replied in frustration. No. Palm side up without polish. I had nail polish on. So he stopped talking to me altogether. Well, he wants a hand shot, not a dolled up whore hand. You think you are going out like that? A man wanted me to use his mouth as my personal toilet. Long story short. Edit. You guys wanted to know the details. Of course. Some things he noted was that he didn't want me to take a shower for a week so he could lick me clean like a good boy. Then he wanted me to hold my poop in for a week so I could explode, as he said, on his face. He also went to describe how he wanted me to smear my poop on his face with my biggest cheeks, and then he wants to lick it all off my butt cheeks. I don't judge. Although that was pretty shocking. He was also exceptionally attractive. I usually don't get exy successful older men that easily. So I knew there had to be a catch to his character, lol. Oh, look at Miss Fancy over here with her own personal toilet all to herself. /r/frugal jerk. As a former stripper, a lot of strange things. Mostly harmless. But I now know that there's a million different kinks out there. The two that stick out are the guy that wanted me to force him to go to the ATM, make him take out $300, and pay me to step on his balls with my heels. The other was the quicksand dude. I had to whisper that I was sinking in quicksand, and it feels so good. Edit. Thank you kind madam/sir for my first gold. Quicksand. I've heard a lot of kinks, but quicksand is new to me. I wonder if it's like Thor? I was thinking an extension to asphyxiation fetish. He was an awesome customer. Spent 30 minutes and $500 once a week. A little late, and I already mentioned this on another thread. White guy wanted to rent a plantation in Georgia and have me, black woman, be his submissive ex-slave. Trapped in a plantation with him as my master. Wanted to tie me up in every room and have his way with me. Probably said this in the second month we started dating. Young, desperate, and naive me was not creeped out enough since I didn't break up with him on the spot. I'm white with a black girlfriend, and I've had people, white and black, suggest we do race play. I think it's really weird. I've told this story on Reddit before, but I feel like it should be shared whenever possible. In my early 20s I dated a guy who had a lot of negative qualities. But I was young and still trying to figure out how non-high school relationships worked. So I persevered. We were almost 2 years in, and things were okay. If not great. We both liked to hike. And so one beautiful spring afternoon we were in the woods. The sun was shining through the leaves, and it was damn near perfect. He pulled me aside on the trail and said he had something very important to ask me. I was thinking he was about to propose. I honestly can't remember if I was excited or nervous about that prospect. He said, "If I'll let you get any kind of dog you want, will you have sex with it so I can watch?" Edit, for the people asking. We broke up pretty much then and there, but we lived together and had a lease. So it took some time before the whole thing fully ended. The takeaway from this is that you should tell your girlfriend you're a furry on date 1 or 2. Or, preferably, before you even start dating. That is need to know info. It's funny how the mind can work on something like this. Sounds like part of him knows it's weird and another part says nah, not weird. People just have inhibitions, so I'll make it a good deal. You can pick the exist dog you want. He wanted me to take his money, like a lot of it. He called it being a financial dominatrix. Didn't do it. I make my own money, and I was uncomfortable. Reminded me too much of Spirited Away. Edit, guys. No face. No face is the reference. Softly grunts while holding out gold coins. Feo, I had no clue how it related to Spirited Away until I read your comment. Much funnier now, haha. My boyfriend wants me to fart more around him because he was concerned I wasn't comfortable farting around him. First time I heard my ex fart was when she was pregnant with our daughter. It was a semi-automatic laughing farts. She was mortified at first, but we both found it hilarious soon after. I say that because after that, she let rip every time the need struck. I was damn proud of her, though. When she farted and made our 2-year-old gag, my wife told me about the time she farted around our 3-year-old. He told her if she did it again he was leaving town. I used to write erotica for a living, and I'd earn some percentage of my income, not a lot. Exactly. But some from writing on commission. I got some real cookie requests over time. But the strangest is probably the guy with a genital mutilation fetish who wanted me to write about him being sounded by a Hot Wheels car. The first part was to be about how it felt going in, and the second part, where he wanted me to put the majority of my effort, was to be about the damage the little metal wing mirrors would do to his penis as it came out. I politely declined. I think I saw this one posted on here before, still just as disturbing. Not just a man, but his wife too. When I was 13, my cousin and I were babysitting this little girl. It was late when the parents got home, so we just stayed the night. They went upstairs and cousin and I were going to watch TV until we fell asleep. A little while later the husband comes downstairs and offers us some weed and a homemade bowl. Being we had never smoked before, he showed us how, and we proceed to get as good and stoned as one can get the first time smoking. He says goodnight and goes back upstairs. I had just gone to sleep when the wife comes down, wakes me up and tells me her husband wants to go down on me and asks if I'll go upstairs with her. She goes on to say that he won't do anything more in case I was still a virgin and that he doesn't get this horny very often and they wanted to make the most of it with me. I remember asking about my cousin, but she said no. They only wanted me. I nervously declined, then spent the rest of the night afraid to go to sleep. Needless to say, I couldn't wait to leave first thing the next morning. My young self is grateful that that wasn't my first ever XL experience. My much older self is wondering, and maybe even secretly hoping, that a similar situation will present itself again. So they were child molesters. That's a bingo. To kiss and bite his neck and twist his nipples while he wanked and called me mommy. That was all fine until mommy. That's the way I feel about daddy. It's not hot. Edit, bad grammar. Edit 2, my most popular comment in a while is about not finding daddy sexy. Thanks. So you'll twist your dad's nipples, but not your mother's? This is why I need feminism. Ducking like and subscribe.